please like and subscribe for more anime related content. Before we get started with the negatives, I would like to state the few positives I actually liked about the show. I also want to state that I actually learned that the studio had some problems with Nickelodeon during production, so it may or may not have been one of the reasons for the problems we saw during the show. Among the positives, I actually liked the way bending was incorporated into everyday industrial activities in the series. The utilization of bending to power machines was actually a sign of how far things have come since Ang. It's also fun how different bending styles are explored for different uses, like metal being used to create artwork. Let's not forget lava bending, which I actually love seeing every time it was used. I liked season 2, at least the first half. The Civil War storyline was actually a good one. It's unfortunately a shame how it was deviated in the second part of it. Okay, and now for the negatives. This might actually take a while. The Last Airbender was written in such a way that each episode had a conclusion. There's a kind of satisfaction that actually comes from knowing that. Because of this, a lot of his characters have their own personal stories flushed out in different episodes. By the final episode, during the final battle, I wasn't just excited for Aang battling Ozai, but for every other battle the team was involved in. I was even excited to see Azula fight one more time. It's always exciting when she actually uses her lightning. Korra on the other hand had the story stretched across a season, meaning conclusions came at the end of a season. And somehow the characters, apart from Korra, who the writers attempted to flush out, were just Tenzin and Lin Beitong. Secondly, in The Last Airbender, bending is actually shown to be an art form. Every bending has its own martial art style and we can actually see the benders use them during bending. In The Last Airbender, bending is actually explained reasonably, unlike Korra. Take for instance, when Toph bends metal, it's explained that due to her being able to sense earth strongly, she's actually able to feel the impurities in metal and as such decides to bend them. In Korra, Bolin is just able to develop lava bending with no explanation. By the way, I don't really know how many people notice this in Korra, but the avatar state is basically useless when she uses it. Unlike Aang, who only enters it in critical situations, allowing him to gain godlike abilities, Korra enters it basically at any point in time, and whenever she uses it actually in a battle, it makes it feel like the avatar state only brings her up to the same level as the enemy, and she still gets beaten anyway. By the way, I also think pro bending arc was not necessary. Yeah, we should have scrapped that part. Thirdly, I think we can all agree that the relationships in Korra were handled very poorly. There are only 4 relationships in The Last Airbender, but somehow those relationships are written better than the relationships in Korra, even though it was basically relationships on kids. Korra's love triangle made no sense to me. Why would Asami want to date Korra when she was the one who Maku actually cheated on her with? Also, the relationship between Bolin and Onolok's daughter was quite uncomfortable. I know it was meant to be funny with the way she, abused him, but somehow what I kept seeing was just a master and a slave. Finally, like I said during my positive, the second season actually started well but ended poorly. And I think the reason most fans easily noticed this was because it felt like two different storylines were meshed together, a good one and a bad one. The Civil War storyline was actually great, and it actually didn't need an evil avatar to wrap things up. To wrap everything up, the Last Airbender was actually going to be a tough act to follow, if we're being honest. It was kind of that perfect show we loved as kids and also fell in love with again as adults. So I think one of the reasons why Korra fell short in the storyline and villains is that it tries to mirror the Last Airbender, but it's kind of in an adult form. But either way, I'm looking forward to everything the Avatar Studios will be releasing next year. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit on the notification bell to be alerted for more videos. You can also check out the other videos on our channel.